Today is all about functional medicine. The minimum testing that you should do, absolutely not.
What's our goal? What's the end goal for the provider? And how do we get there?
Welcome to my channel, guys. Today is all about functional medicine. So you guys know I'm on that postpartum journey. My hormones are all effed up. We are going to fix them. So we did the genetic testing, we did a in-depth blood panel, and then we did the Dutch test as well. The results are officially in. We're gonna just know basically everything. Let's go see and hear how the best functional medicine practitioner is going to heal me. I'm like so excited because I've done functional medicine before and I've had like all the supplements and stuff, but I've never really messed with peptides officially because your girl hasn't joined the peptide crew yet. I've seen the power. I know that that's like the future of medicine. I'm such a believer in that I had my functional medicine practitioner before, but she didn't have the license to prescribe like full-on peptides, I don't think. So it was only like supplements I could take, and Kristen better get me on that good stuff because she has healed Jessie and I want what Jessie has. It's like Christmas.
I don't like to use the term dumb it down, but I try to make it make sense. And so how I kind of explain your genes is like Capital Grill, right? Capital Grill is your boss. And inside Capital Grill, you have all the workers.
Yeah.
And if you have a worker that doesn't show up, you create burden on other people and the job doesn't get done. So that's kind of like what happens with the genes. If you have a deletion, well then you don't have workers that have showed up at all. So then other staff has to come in and try to do the job. But what happens? You get bottleneck, things slow down. So that's kind of where you are. Your genes are never going to change.
Yeah.
They will always be the same.
Oh.
So the support that you give yourself based upon that should then make every other system work a little more efficiently.
I love that analogy. We have a lot to catch up with. Your girl got a puppy. I went horseback riding today, and now I am going to get salmon DNA injected into my face. You guys see me with no makeup, you know that we're getting into something good. Come with me to Kristen's office. She's my functional medicine doctor as well as injectors. The woman who keeps me pretty. So I'm actually gonna get a treatment with her, but we are gonna go over the peptides and I'm gonna ask her a few questions because I've been on my peptide stack for a while now. One, I wanted her to explain, you guys, what PCP 157 means, teslamorilin, thymosin beta. I wanted you guys to hear from her. I'm nervous, I'm excited, I have a notebook, I have a pen. I'm a little nerd. You want to know what's absolutely crazy is now that I started talking about peptides, I cannot believe the amount of companies that have been reaching out to me to try to work with me.
Probably research use only too.
That's what I kind of want to say is to not do something like that. People are just buying this shit.
So on my story, I took a physician who practices down in Miami who is doing this commentary on TikTok about these peptides that people are doing that in isolation are really phenomenal. There's a stack called Glow which has GHKCU in it. GHKCU is amazing.
Can I get on that?
I mean, you could do a cycle of it, but the point that he was making is that there will come a time that we will start to see malignancies related to people and their use of peptides. Number one, especially the research use only, because of the endotoxins that are in those. Yeah. You can have a company, because I get inundated with stuff from peptide companies, and they'll say, we guarantee purity. Well, you can guarantee me 99.9% purity of a peptide, but what is your sterility? Show me the sterility that you've removed all of those endotoxins, because that's what's also so expensive. The raw materials to make any kind of peptide are really relatively cheap. Yeah. What costs money is doing your sterility process, setting up a sterile lab, then doing testing on it, keeping it in sequestration to make sure that it's sterile, and then releasing it to be sent to the patient. It's an expensive process. Yeah. These research use, they're like, well, how I can get this peptide for $189. Knock yourself with things that are going to give you cancer down the road. Do you guys hear this? Yeah. What is IGF-1? So that's going to be that ability for you to really get some muscle on you, to have that return. We're doing it kind of in combination with some other things, but the ultimate goal for you is that you're able to get some muscle on on you and retain that muscle.
I'm so excited, like, to test again down
Afterwards.
the line. Yeah. So real quick.
Yeah.
BPC. Sorry guys, I'm dyslexic. BPC 157 and Thymosin beta is a Wolverine pack.
That's what they call that. Commercialized, I would say, in California.
Okay.
People would be like, give me some of that Wolverine.
So who's a good candidate for BPC?
Well, remember, BPC put back off of category 2. We had it in oral form. So tremendously incredible for gut health. Use it with things like lorazepam. When you use it as a sub-Q injection, we're doing for you, it's also very reparative. These are also things that you don't stay on indefinitely. So you finish your cycle and then you take a holiday. Because also too, these are signalers. So what are we signaling? What's our goal? What's the end goal for the provider? And how do we get there? If you have a broken system, which was why when we did your genetic testing, this became so important, the supplement routine, because we needed to support what we knew you were genetically deficient in, right? We talked about your methylation, your detox pathways. If somebody goes in without knowing that backstory and they're just throwing a bunch of peptides at somebody, what are you trying to signal at the end of the day? If you have a broken system that doesn't work,
we need to fix the system.
You're not going to get signaling that's going to do anything. So not only is the patient wasting money, because as we discussed, getting peptides the proper route is not a cheap method. We have to figure out what we're trying to remedy, what we're trying to accomplish.
So like markers that everyone needs to take, because I'm nervous that I'm going to influence somebody to take peptides and they're not going to do it the correct way. The minimum testing that you should do is...
I require full serum, so a blood draw. We do markers there because that's a 24-hour reflection. We do saliva and urine. That gives us about a 72-hour reflection. And then we do genetic testing. Because that's the one thing that I talk about with genetic testing. Your genes are your genes, so it's never going to change. So how we support that, that's how you're going to support yourself for the rest of your life.
So thymosin beta versus thymosin alpha. I'm on thymosin beta.
Right, because they do two different things. Thymosin alpha is more immune modulation, immune function. Remember, we have a thymus gland that starts to really atrophy in our late 20s, early 30s, and that's why you have diminished ability of immune function as we get older. Thymosin beta is more, think of that as your repairer. It's called blanketly angiogenesis. That's why that's a peptide we also have to be careful with, that we're not using in the long term. We're not continuously on it, because what can angiogenesis do? That can also potentiate and help things grow that we don't want to have grow. So used appropriately, cycled appropriately, it's very healing.
So I'm like on a healing stack.
That's where you are right now in this cycle. Why I wasn't open to microdosing you with a GLP. Because where your muscle was. We can't do that. Now you would find clinicians that would be like, sure, we'll put you on
I could just get it off of these companies that are selling me this. And that's what I wanted to nail home with the girls. Like someone like me that was like, wait a minute, when you're reading my peptides, I'm like, where's the semaglutides in here? And you looked at me like, girl, absolutely not. I wouldn't be able to walk upstairs by the time I'm 60.
Because the body doesn't say, I'm only going to take it from the fat.
Yeah.
Like even when you look over here and it tells you, oh, we have a goal to lose 9 pounds of fat, but we also have a goal to put on about 8 pounds of muscle. We want to have that ability for you to put on some muscle because we know that muscle is metabolic and muscle is medicine for your body in the long term. So if I irresponsibly put you on a GLP-1 and even said, let's microdose you, your body isn't going to say, I'm only going to take it from the fat. Yeah. It is going to pull from your muscle reserve. And you really are not in a position where you can afford that, because what happens when we lose muscle? That sarcopenia thrusts you into osteopenia, you start to lose your bone. And that already happens to women in that perimenopause and menopause state. Exactly.
Okay. We couldn't honestly film what we just did, but we did a top secret treatment, and it's called biologics. You know, you know, telling you now. And we injected it under the eyes, kind of like the temple area and crow's feet area. I'm like pretty swollen for some reason. You cannot see this like on camera. I'm really excited for these. It's not filler. It's not anything that you're thinking of. Like I can go back to my normal function. It's regenerative.
I am officially done with my first vial of PCP 157 and Thymosin beta. So it's compounded together. It's also known as the Wolverine pack commercially. So I wanted to actually do a deep dive into Thymosin beta. You guys will hear something called Thymosin alpha. Those are two separate peptides for two very different reasons. Thymosin beta, it's going to accelerate the healing of skin, ligaments, muscles. It promotes anagenesis. So anagenesis is formation formation of new blood vessels, and it stimulates cell migration and stem cell recruitment, speeding up recovery time after trauma or surgery. It's improving oxygen and nutrient delivery to damaged areas. It helps with muscle growth and recovery, so it's going to increase muscle regeneration after strain or damage, and oxidize stress in tissues. This is a huge one for oxidative stress for me specifically. I have the bad, dirty gene that really screws up the oxidative stress and just a detoxing. It's going to reduce inflammation, and it's often used by athletes for a faster post-recovery training or an injury. Brain and nervous system support, which I love. So basically the thymosin beta can help after a brain injury. Do I have that? No. I am here for all of the oxidative stress, the inflammation that it's helping with. So let's get into the anti-inflammatory. Decreases production of pro-inflammatory cells. It modulates immune response to prevent overreactive. So this is huge for me. I've been dealing with a lot of psoriasis, eczema, just things that have come up since birth or since I gave birth that I never had before. And all of that is stemming from an autoimmune type of response. It can help reduce chronic low-grade inflammation that can contribute to fatigue and aging. It promotes collagen synthesis and cellular regeneration. It reduces fine lines, scars, and pigmentations by supporting dermal repair, often used in microneedling or topical formations for regeneration. Oh my God, we need to get on that ASAP. Overall, it would improve in cellular resilience under stress, so physical or metabolic. I want to be real with you. I want to be raw with you. I want to help educate. You guys will listen to my doctor talk about it on our appointment, but she speaks so high level that I just wanted to give kind of a Sparks Notes version of somebody who maybe isn't in the medical field or just doesn't know anything about peptides and whom it might help. I hope this was helpful for you. I'm glad that we nerded out for a hot second. I'm really feeling good about my peptide journey. Have I lost weight? No, but I do see inflammation starting to come down. My post-workout recovery is great. I am a little sore, but it does help with that. And again, I'm only 1 month in. So as you guys see me gradually through 6 months, being on it for a year, and some of these peptides, it's not something you're going to stay on long term. It's something that you might use for 12 weeks and then down the road when you need it again. And I hope that I'm sharing this from educational purposes. Nothing to do with BPC 157 is weight loss. It's more regenerative, repair, recovery type of peptide. It can be used in a variety of different ways for a variety of reasons, and it should definitely be something you talk about with your practitioner.